Hi, am I caller number 4? Hello? Hello, did I win? Did I win the tickets? Damn it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reviewers.
Yo.
What's happening? How are you? How are you doing? How are you feeling? How's your mother?
How's every little thing? All right.
Right.
In the words of the immortal Bugs Bunny, you know what I'm saying? How's every little thing? All right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We love y'all out there. We really concerned about how y'all doing. How y'all feeling? You know what I'm saying? Like, how's every little thing? You know?
Right. We're almost out of the first quarter of 2019. You know what I mean? We got March Madness coming up. I'm pretty sure
man.
You guys are going to be putting in some money on them little fucking squares challenge bets.
Yeah.
We're buying your squares
in your office building and shit.
Right. Don't let Janice from accounting, who's never seen a college basketball game in her life, beat you. All right. That's all of you.
Because her son plays AAU basketball. You know what I'm saying? She don't know nothing about nothing but what her son does. She plays like and wins fucking the whole pot.
Exactly. That should happen. She told me Gonzaga was good. I'm like, all right.
Good
God damn it.
Janice. Good for you, Janice.
Right. Well, hey, get your money, Janice. So you know, it's a very interesting time to be a sports fan in this time of year because there's always different things happening, even when you know some of your favorite teams aren't taking the field, because there's always action. Oh baby, there's always action, and we'll get to that. If you're just joining us for the very first time, this is JB and Benny Blue Review Podcast. Joining me via technology, courtesy of the Apple Corporation.
Shout out to Apple, man.
My dear brother in savagery, donning his best Southern Miss to the top golden shirt.
Always.
Jeremiah Eugenius Bridges III Jr. Esquire, doctor, lawyer, poet laureate.
Yes.
Tell the people who you are, sir, for those just joining us for the first time.
And people that don't know me out there, reviewers, how you doing? My name is Jeremy Bridges, and I am a 10-year NFL veteran, retired in 2013. Most recently played for the Arizona Cardinals, you know what I'm saying? Birdgang all day.
Birdgang.
I am a coach, a mentor, a business owner, you know what I'm saying, and a partner to this handsome devil, you know what I'm saying, I do the podcast with. Father, all those beautiful things, you know what I'm saying? But my partner in crime, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Beneford Rhinesmith III. All right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Damn right.
Yes, sir. Tell them about yourself, buddy.
What's good people? It's your man Benny Blue, comedian, podcaster, entrepreneur extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? Partner in our fine sponsor, Pacific Home Buyers.
Yes.
I've worked in the music industry for many years. I had my own PR firm, Blue Public Relations. Originally had the True Blue podcast, which spawned the JB and Benny Blue Review podcast.
That's right.
It's a beautiful thing how life works. I had also worked with some professional athletes, particularly some NFL players, including one gentleman that we will talk about who was unfortunately released from employment from the Birdgang. But he's a good dude.
He's Birdgang for life now, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Birdgang for life. I don't know what's next for him, but you know, he's a good dude. And all that kind of came to the big old gumbo pot that is the review and brought us together. And now we're here for your listening pleasure, and we appreciate you rocking with us. You know, we talk about everything, man. Like, obviously, we're for those who've been rocking with us, the reviewers of old and somewhat old, and those who've been fucking with us since day one. Know that we talk our favorite game, the most glorious game on all planet Earth, foosball. But we also get into other things, man. We get into music, sports, a little bit of politics, you know, society, culture, and everything, you know, shit. Sometimes the most random shit. Lord knows JB's good for a conspiracy theory.
You know, I drop one on you.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, with that being said, as far as music goes, just a quick reminder to the reviewers out there. Savage Reactions, you know what I'm saying? We need content to do Savage Reactions on, so we are asking, you know what I'm saying, that you shoot us your new music, you know what I'm saying? Shoot us your new music so we can review it, so we can give you our Savage Reaction, our organic Savage Reaction. Look, we do not do this before the show. Benny will tell me that we receive something, we listen to it together, and we give you our honest opinion. And it's you know, it's just, it's fair, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to degrade you, anything like that. We're not banging, you know what I'm saying? We're just going to give you, you know, helpful hints, you know what I'm saying? Positive reinforcement, because we know that you take your craft seriously, you know what I'm saying? So we want you to be the best at what you're doing.
That's correct, and you can do that by sending us original songs, as JB said, original songs.
No YouTube beats.
Yeah. jack a fucking. You know, we're not doing that anymore. Just the original heat, baby.
We need original production. You know what I'm saying? Original writing. You know what I mean? Speaking of music again, man. Rest in peace, Christopher Wallace, the great, notorious B.I.G. One of the greatest rappers that ever lived. Short-lived career because haters took his life. He was gone way too soon. But I just like looking at some of the things that people were posting, Benny, over over the last few 36 hours or so. You know what I'm saying? Because his birthday was yesterday, and man, it was amazing. You know what I'm saying? He was just an amazing guy, amazing rapper. You know what I'm saying? You really have to like go back, and like I did yesterday, I went back and I listened to Ready to Die, his first album that he put out, and then some of his like mixtape type stuff. You know what I'm saying? The dude was unreal, man. You know, his style, his flow, his delivery. The dude was way ahead of his time. Just suave as you can be. You know what I'm saying? He was. He made big dudes cool. Like after Heavy D came Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Like he made it cool to be a big dude, man. You know what I'm saying? And he was the man, dog. You know what I'm saying? I hate that they took him so fast. You know what I'm saying? But the dude was he was amazing, man. Rest in peace, B.I.G. man. His legacy lives on. You know what I'm saying? Through his mom and his kids, and of course through the timeless music that he's made.
Correct.
So had to get that in there, man. Rest in peace to old Big Papa.
Man, any time, and I'm pretty sure you've been through this a little bit with your sons. Anytime that you are talking to a young person who's interested in hip hop, rap, whatever tag you want to put on it in terms of the genre, and you need when you're talking about studying the craft, studying the greats,
right?
He was the ultimate balance between what a mixtape rapper and like a mainstream popular rapper would sound like,
right?
Because he just, and it's funny, it's an interesting parallel with comedy where it's like he'd be like one of those comics that could go into like just a dingy dive bar, the crowd's not even there for a show, and rock it, and then turn around, hop in a limo, and go do Madison Square Garden, right, and it'd be sold out, and it would still be the same type of appeal. And oddly enough, rest in peace, Heavy D produced a lot of those early records.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people forget that. So there was always, you could tell like the people that were around him. Obviously you got the Puffs of the world, but on through like Jay-Z and Junior Mafia, all these people that were around him. You could tell like sometimes you just you see certain artists, whatever their craft is, and you can tell like sometimes you just got to be like, you got to put your arm around him and be like, no, like we'll take care of him. He'll be fine. Right. Like, cause when you recognize that, and unfortunately, like you said, like the way that stuff played out, and obviously when you look back on it now with the Vibe magazine cover and all that extra shit, that when you look on that shit back now, I think a lot of those guys who were around that era, they probably wish they could go back and kind of do it a little bit differently.
Right, of course.
Of course. Yeah. And like you said, and then you lose, people forget Biggie and Tupac got killed in the same year.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, it's one of those things, man. It's probably one of the biggest what ifs in music, because you got to wonder how things would be different had they lived.
It wasn't the same year. It was like Biggie, Pac died in '96, right? He got killed in '96 and Biggie got killed in '97.
Oh, that's right. And then the following March, you're right.
Yeah. Within 6 months, they were both gone.
Within a year's time, you're correct. Yeah, but still, it makes you wonder how other people's careers would be affected, and how music would sound if they were both, because they were so influential for basically two completely different reasons, and it's crazy.
I was about to say, man, we lost, two greats, and now we got this shit that we did. You know what I'm saying? That's going on now.
Right, but at the same time, I mean, you never know. I mean, you can see, like the butterfly effect, the ripple effect, how it would affect. Because people, the early conspiracy theory was, you've heard it before, like, Biggie died, the whole Jay-Z Biggie thing, where it's like he was able to kind of quote unquote take the crown, like on some Game of Thrones shit. I think someone like him, he happens anyway.
Right, and I tell people all the time, like, you forget that, you know what I'm saying, like, Big respected Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? Because Big and Jay-Z wrote 2 records together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop playing. Like, don't ever discredit Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? Like, that man was gonna do what he was gonna do regardless. To me, the way I look at it, was just gonna be more fire ass Jay-Z and Biggie records. Shit. You know what I'm saying? They both from that style, Brook 9 to go in the world. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I still contend that Tupac would have stopped doing music and he'd be like a full-time actor, but he'd like just permanently live in the south of France. And like he'd just like pop up like once a year. Right. You know what I mean? Like basically on some like Andre 3000 shit. Like he'll just come out when he least expect it. Yeah, because that's what I thought would have happened.
Yeah, that whole Death Row thing we got. Eventually, you know what I'm saying, Suge, you know what I'm saying, would have showed his hand to Pac, and Pac would have been like, you know what, I got to get away from this shit. You know what I'm saying? Before I become, you know what I'm saying, another victim of the rape. You know what I'm saying? Suge was taking advantage of niggas, you know what I'm saying? But, you know.
Yeah. And that karma came as we've seen. So bringing it back full circle, artists, if you think you're one of the next greats, trust me, we'll be able to tell you. So send that original music to jbandbennybluereview@gmail.com. Again, you can leave us a message here on the Savage Hotline. That's 818-850-2804. One more time, that's 818-850-2804. Motherfucking foe. And leave us that message, that shout out. We will play at the beginning of the show. And yeah, man, at JB and Benny Blue for all your social media needs. We always have more content. We will talk about other things that may not fit into the podcast, and because we're on our every other week schedule, we always want to make sure we're communicating with you fine folks. And JBandBennyBlueReview.com for all past episodes. If you're just catching up, want to know what we've been doing, what we've been talking about, how you've been feeling, and put that / merch behind it. Copy a Don't Be Dumb hoodie. And it's all moving together, baby. So we appreciate you moving with us. All right, so, look, it's the NFL offseason, but there's a lot of shit happening. And we're going to get into it here in a second. But, JB, I know you've been keeping it better than I, and I got to admit, I got to make a little bit more time for it and step it up. But I've been keeping my eye on the highlights and just kind of what's been happening with the teams. The Alliance of American Football League. Big thing that happened over the last 2-3 weeks is that they got, I believe the dude is the owner, correct me if I'm wrong, of the Hurricanes hockey team. And I think he invested like $200 million or something like that. And a lot of people are kind of, the easy thing is people are trying to already discredit the league. Like, oh, they're broke. They can't play. They ran out of payroll. The league is gonna fold in a year. And from what you've been seeing some pretty good ball, correct?
Yeah, the product is really good. It's really good football being played. Of course, it's not on the quote-unquote level of the NFL because the NFL is the top dog. Top level, you're going to get the best of the best in the NFL. But it's some really good ball being played, and, man, it's satisfying to watch. I'm not going to lie. Like, it really, you know what I'm saying, it treats that fix, you know what I'm saying? It's the fix that you need for football. But you got some guys that are displaying some super talent, right? And like you just said about the league is going to eventually pick up steam because certain demographics like San Diego, their team, the Fleet, they have a decent turnout all the time. And then the Utah team, they always have a decent turnout. And the San Antonio team is like, they probably have the most fan base of any team. I'm going to go out on a limb and say between the San Diego team and the San Antonio team, they have the biggest fan base. The Atlanta team, even though they're not doing very well, when they played down there for the first time, I watched that game, they had a pretty good turnout. They were at Georgia Southern Stadium, I think they were at. And the league is going to be better. Trust me when I say it's pretty good things going on in the league, man. Again, like I said, football, you just want to watch football. It's real football besides, the whole every time 2-point and the non-kickoff thing, pretty much.
Right.
And, and the whole, not 2-point conversion, but the whole onside kick thing being out with the whole 4th and 12 thing, which I've only seen twice. Yeah, it's football, man. 4 downs, you know what I'm saying? The field is 100 yards long, it's 53 yards wide. Real football, man. So they're going to be okay. And the fact that they just got $200 million invested into them, somebody knows something. When big money people start investing money into things, they understand that there's a return coming. So trust me, in the next couple of years, it's going to be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and I think that's their strength in terms of their market, because like we talked about when we did more of a full segment, a few weeks ago on this. Obviously they're so there's 8 teams, correct? 8 teams total. 8 teams,
right. 10 week season, a playoff system, and a Super Bowl, if you will.
Right. Right. So yeah. So there, and primary example, I think that they're going to win by, especially if you got to figure, say they expand the league by 4 teams for next year. I think their biggest advantage is going to be putting teams in markets that wouldn't otherwise have a professional sports team.
Right.
And especially, like you prime example, San Diego. I mean, San Diego never wanted the Chargers to leave.
No,
and
they
feel,
they were heartbroken.
So now they feel like they had same. I'm pretty sure you'd feel a similar experience in like St. Louis,
right.
where it's like we had a team, we lost a team, and their team actually had good history, even though they're quote unquote originally from LA, from where they moved from. They still had the greatest show on turf, and they had that run where they had some really good teams in St. Louis.
Right.
And now it's like, where does that history go? But yet we still got the big ass dome. It's like, if they put a team there, places where there's a lot of fans that may have to kind of go outside of their market to root for an NFL team. Like, look at some of the Midwest states where you go to places like, Iowa, the Dakotas, places like that. They gotta be like, well, do we like the Vikings? Do we like the Chiefs?
Right.
You know what I mean? Do we like the Packers?
Right.
And they're kind of like, they feel that there's a connection because they like the team, but it's not like a civic pride connection where it's like, no, this is our shit in our town.
Yeah, we talked about it like when we first spoke about the Alliance Football League, how there are going to be teams in different demographics like that. Like there's right now, it's basically Southern and the Western hemispheres. Mm-hmm. But of course, they got to go to the East Coast with it. They have to. They have no choice. You know what I'm saying? That's got to happen. And then they got to really tap into the Midwest. So if they're gonna structure their league like the NFL, where it's gonna be four divisions. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. I can't see it not grow. It's just too good. It's having too much success in the first year for it not to grow.
Right. And I mean, it's like anything else. It's like we're as sports fans, we're so conditioned for our yearly schedule.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like subconsciously we got that in mind, like, oh, NFL's gonna go for this part. Cool. Then it's gonna be a break. Yes, there's gonna be the free agency stuff, which we'll get to in a second. Mm-hmm. But then you got then that gives you the time to enjoy this time of year. So it's March Madness, then the NBA playoffs start, then baseball gets going, and then you have that beautiful, crazy ass Lanker to use the LA reference for our LA reviews out there. The dead man's intersection, as JB and I call it, with fucking Lancashire, Riverside, Vineland, where it's NFL starts, World Series, and
the NBA Finals.
Everything comes. NBA starts, NFL starts, and then the World Series, and everything kind of comes together in the fall.
Right.
And usually there's big like end of the year boxing matches and the whole shit. So, like JB said, it's kind of people who are poo-pooing it now and saying, oh, it's the USFL all over again. It's like, maybe that'll be the case with the XFL. That's the league I don't have as much faith in.
Yeah, I don't even know if the XFL is going. I don't know. I'm not sure if the XFL is in stone, but honestly, the Alliance, they could honestly run the XFL out of business before they even start.
Well, the smartest thing they did, and we talked about it in terms of the quality of play, I watched a long interview with Charlie Ebersol, who again is one of the co-founders. He's the son of Dick Ebersol, who ran NBC Sports for a long time, and Dick was the one who partnered with Vince McMahon to start the original XFL, which is kind of how he got the idea. He even says that he got the idea after they did that 30 for 30 on the XFL to do it. And one of the smartest things they did was they got in it early in terms of partnering with the NFL. Mm-hmm. So now they don't have to worry about the NFL trying to be on the slide, because they're even though it's not quote unquote developmental league quality football, they don't mind saying, you know what, we can, guys that you maybe have given up on or just didn't click with their teams or practice squad guys, they can play here for 2 years, get legitimate, and then be able to make a 53-man roster with the NFL. Yeah. And I think that's what's good. Honestly, I think that's the key that's going to keep them around, because there's not going to be any friction, so they can dominate the spring, and the NFL can dominate the fall, and anybody else
everybody can make their money.
Shoehorn in there.
Yeah, everybody can make their money. So I'm not sure, man, if the XFL is even going to be able to. Man, they might have a 1 year, but they're not going to hold up, man, because the alliance is just going to get bigger, like you said. It's not developmental, but it's a gateway, or it's an avenue back into the NFL for certain guys. For other guys, it's just a great opportunity to make money playing professional football. You know what I'm saying? That honestly would probably never get a chance to play in the NFL. So it's pretty dope league. I'm satisfied with it. And again, the product is good. If you ain't seen the game, man, if you ain't watched them play, especially now because this is like week 5 for them. Week 5, I think.
Right.
Yeah, they're getting to the point where they have to watch film now and all this other stuff, and like the defense they're playing well, and the offense that are really good and that click, like the old Spurrier boys down in Orlando. I think they're still undefeated.
Yeah, the Apollos, man, they're playing good ball,
playing crazy good ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, hey, speaking of changing product, speaking of the Not for Long League. The 2018-19 season may be over, but damn it, we are approaching the new league year in just a few days, and there has already been some major moves, some movings and shakings, people coming, people going, people signing, people getting released.
Yes.
A lot of strategy, a lot of smoke and mirrors for the draft coming up, and of course you already know how we handle business for the draft, so we're gonna have a whole episode dedicated to that in the coming weeks.
I'll be in Tombstone for the draft.
Tombstone? What's happening in Tombstone?
Something the Cardinals got going on, bro. I'll keep you posted on that. But my guy Adam Rickman, you know what I'm saying, who does the player relations, you know what I'm saying, like as far as like all the in the community type stuff with the current and the former players, he told me, he said we're going to Tombstone for the draft. But he said the second day of the draft, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Maybe we have to represent the Birdgang and represent the review.
I'm excited about that.
Content to come. Yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Good shit.
I'm excited about that.
All right, so Birdgang, look out for that. But in the meantime, this is, oh man, we haven't done this in a while, but there's a lot of shit to talk about. This is the Review's patented NFL free agency news desk. Cue that goddamn news music right now. Let's go. Breaking fucking news. Right back. We're gonna go to the story of the day. You already know the talking head, the hot take shows, all these, you know what I'm saying, suit wearing motherfuckers are gonna be talking about this shit ad nauseum for the next week. Giving their ridiculous takes. Some of these guys are probably gonna shame this man. Some of these guys are gonna be very proud of him. You already know what to expect. But we're just gonna give you the real deal. Here's the deal, reviewers, if you've been living under a rock. You know that Antonio Brown has been trying to get out of Steeler Nation, and he has successfully done that. He has been traded to the Raiders. He's been traded to JB. Has something in his throat. Woo! The goddamn Raiders. Yep, he made it. He's getting traded to the Raiders for a 3rd and 5th round pick. The Raiders have a lot of 1st round picks, so I mean, hey, props to them for not having to give up on any of them. Here's a breakdown of the deal. Yeah. Antonio had 3 years, about a little over $50 million on his contract. Now with no guaranteed money. And now he has $30.125 million guaranteed on the contract. So he basically got it got converted into essentially a 4-year extension.
Right.
Now there's 19.8 of new money on there. On the Steelers side, it looks like they have a dead money salary cap charge of about $21 million.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a lot. And then obviously we already know what's happening with Le'Veon Bell sat out the season. And he's going to be signing somewhere. There's all different shit floating around there. They were talking to the Bills. Antonio Brown said, fuck no, I'm not playing for the Bills.
Yes.
Apparently they talked to the Eagles, but I could see why the Eagles wouldn't do that. So ultimately, he's on the Raiders. And the cynics out there could say, well, that's a fucking Oakland Raider-ass move.
Right.
But it is interesting considering what John Gruden and now the new GM, who we always would see on the draft, is fucking Mike Mayock, is with them, what type of moves that they're making. So, instant reaction right off the bat, what do you think about just simply him going to the Raiders?
I think that the Raiders, got over like a fat rat. I honestly think a 3rd and 5th round pick, like, oops, like, and I feel like it's a win-win for everybody because as far as the Steelers go, they needed to get him out of that locker room. They had to get him out of there. He made it very clear that he didn't want to be there. Publicly, he said it over and over. It's probably one of the biggest broadcasted or you know what I'm saying, divorces of the NFL's history. Like, so he got out of there and he's going to a team that I think that he'll be happy to play for. You know, Gruden's gonna give him the ball and everything's gonna be peachy. I think honestly that it wasn't the fact that he wasn't getting utilized there, it was just the fact that he wasn't getting treated like an adult and a grown man. You know, I think that was the biggest problem for Antonio, is that he wasn't getting treated like a grown man. They were putting a lot of the blame on him for things that were happening. And then, of course, Ben Roethlisberger had to open his fat mouth and speak out and say some real shit. And like
literally fat mouth.
Right, exactly. You know, skinny fat motherfucker. So it's I feel like he's in a place where he's gonna flourish. He's gonna do great wherever he's at. He's that caliber receiver. Arguably the best receiver in the league. So I really think that Oakland got over, and you know, the Steelers got what they needed, and everybody gets to walk away clean. You know what I'm saying? It's over. It's happening. It's over now. So we can stop talking about shit.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I think, just to kind of put a bow on it, I think it actually makes sense for the Raiders and him, because ultimately, this is, no matter where he signed or if he even stayed with the Steelers, this is where if guaranteed money is justified at any point in a career such as his, it's going to be now. So you might as well do that, even if it's more incentive based to where he can earn it. Great. This is the time to do it, because there is no debate after this contract is over, where this is going to happen again. Even if he's still playing at a high level, you already know it's cap friendly, age, all the things that you've experienced as a player. Even if you still got it like that, you already know they're doing risk assessment. All right, so when his contract's over, he's going to be 34, something like that. So you got to figure, yes, he's still gonna play, but I don't think they have to worry so much about, well, fuck, do we have to go through this bullshit of trying to make him happy with the new deals? Like, no, we already satisfied it. You got a guaranteed.
You got that G behind that money.
Guaranteed. Yeah. Exactly.
Good for AB, man. Good for AB.
Now, speaking of Le'Veon Bell, he's a true free agent, right? Technically, I mean, AB was just getting a trade, but he's part of this whole swell, so we had to talk about it.
Right.
The rumor right now, and you could see how it could happen with some wheeling and dealing the picks, is that Mr. Bell could also be in the silver and black.
Oh.
What would you think about that? And based on some of the needs and based on some of the assets that the Raiders have, does that make sense to get him out there?
Well, of course it makes sense, but it's a situation of where do you want that? Can we get them all to play together? Can Gruden get them all to mesh and to play together and not be fighting over the ball? There's only one damn ball to go around. So that's the thing. Can Gruden get them boys to play ball together? Now they got the collateral. They got whatever they can. You know, like you said, they got first round picks and all this other shit. So they can dump some shit off. They can gain some shit. They can lose some shit. They can get him in there. But he's gonna break the bank, and that's the issue with that. I don't think they have enough money to bring him in. It sounds good, but I don't think they have enough money to give to bring Le'Veon in, because it was estimated, a couple of the guys at ESPN kind of put it up there. It was like he's going to be in the 70 range with about 50 guaranteed. I don't think the Raiders got that to give. So, honestly, I wouldn't if I was them. I would let him be. I've heard rumors about him going to the Jets. And I think that might be a better fit for him, because he can be showcased. Because they don't really have, do they have a number one receiver? Like who do the Jets have?
They got a lot of holes, and Lord knows they pay him.
Yeah. So with that rumor, I think that would be a better fit for Le'Veon, because he gonna get the ball in 1,000 different ways. It don't matter who the OC is, and who's the head coach of the Jets now.
Adam Gase?
Okay, so he I think that's a better fit for him. Who knows where Le'Veon is gonna go at this point? Everything is just rumors, and next thing you know, we'll get sideswiped and he'll go to the fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? What happened? Like, so you just gotta, with him, you just gotta kind of keep your eye open and your ears open to what's happening. Because again, we don't really know what's gonna happen. Nobody saw this shit coming with AB. right? Nobody saw because the Steelers, the Raiders weren't in the conversation. All of a sudden, bam, you straight to the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? So
right, exactly.
Yeah, so we never know with Le'Veon. You just got to kind of keep our ears peeled and we'll see when it happens, man. Just right, it is what it is.
Right, and the final big move before we move into some Birdgang talk is there's a lot of different cats out there. I want to throw your way to see if they'd fit, not only money wise but scheme wise. I'm very surprised that this whole, and maybe they're being savvy in terms of just trying to get the most out of it. And I'm curious to think what you think he should command as far as a deal is Nick Foles. The obvious thing is that he's going to go to the Jaguars, but yet it hasn't happened yet. And that was one of the first ones that was like, this is like they basically like just shook hands on it in the fucking hotel lobby or some shit. And it hasn't went down yet.
Right.
So do you think when you look at someone like him where it's like everybody has this kind of weird perspective on him because it's like the dude won a Super Bowl, he's a Super Bowl MVP, but then you've seen him in other situations where he's been kind of okay.
Right.
So like with both of those kind of things in mind, do you think it makes sense for the Jaguars to be like, you know what, let's take this chance, let's move on from Blake and fucking, kind of cash this guy out a little bit, or do you think the market is gonna develop for him?
I think that, how old is Nick Foles?
He's 30.
30 years old. Okay. Not a lot of wear and tear because he hasn't been playing much in his career. He's been in the league, 9 years now? So not a lot of wear and tear because he was a starter at Philly for a little bit, and then, then he left and he came back, and he, of course, the whole Super Bowl thing happened, and last year, same difference. He kind of started playing later in the season. So he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear from the game. I honestly believe the Jaguars should make the move. Like, get rid of Bortles because he is just hot garbage. Like, he's really bad, and it's I don't know if he just needs to change the scenery. I've always thought that Blake Bortles was a talented quarterback. I just be like, what the fuck? He's one of those what the fuck guys. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you got like great talent, but you just never putting this shit together. And then Nick Foles is like you said earlier, is like sometimes he's great, sometimes he's not. So I honestly think if I was a GM of Jacksonville, and I would just be like, you know what? We're gonna bring you in. We're gonna give you a 3-year deal. It's gonna be this much guaranteed, but it's not gonna be a break the bank type deal, right? And I'm gonna tell them straight up, be like, look, if you play well over the next 2 years, then we'll extend your contract and we'll make you a Jaguar for the rest of your career.
Right.
But I'm not throwing a house at him right now. I just can't do it. Can't do it because he has to prove that he can go through a whole damn season and not get hurt. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot that he can't control if he gets hurt or not, but he can go through a whole season and be productive. And then if he does it 2 years, get us back to the playoffs. Like, things like this need to happen before we just throw the fucking Brinks truck at you. So
I think his base needs to be reasonable, and I think it's fair to, if I'm the GM for the Jaguars, like, look, man, we know you can play, but we're in an interesting position now where they really, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, they're in a win now position,
right?
Where they got all these guys on good contracts. It's that new era that we're in where these teams have that 2, 3, 4 year window where it's like you got to make some shit shake now before you can start paying cats.
Right.
So it's like, Nick, we'll give you a respectable, base that you can agree with,
right?
But we will give you the option. It's got to be incentive based. It's got to be, Nick, if you show up like Super Bowl MVP, you're gonna be Brinks truck status.
Right.
If you're kind of Nick that can get it done and kind of game manager, you get paid fair.
Right.
We're not gonna
we're not gonna throw the Brinks truck at you.
That's your minimum, right? But at the same time, it's like if you want the Brinks truck, I think any GM worth his salt has got to be like, look, you're good, man, but like we can't back it up like you're fucking Rodgers or Brady.
Right.
We can't.
Just can't do it yet.
We don't really know what to expect.
There's not enough proof out there. There's not enough proof. There's not enough tape, not enough film, positive film that's showing us that you're gonna be this guy year in and year out, and that's what we need here.
Correct. All right, so let's take it to the Birdgang. Let's wrap up this segment here with the Birdgang. I want to go over a few moves. All right, so particularly as it relates to your specialty, your craft, the offensive line. Speaking of the Steelers, they picked up Marcus Gilbert from the Steelers, and then they traded a sixth round pick for him.
Right.
Right off the bat, what do you think about that move?
I agree with it.
Offensive line was a big problem for you guys last year.
Yes, sir. I agree with it. He's a strong veteran. He has some injury issues, and that's the thing that kind of concerns me. All right, he has some injury issues over the last 2 or 3 years, and I hope that we're not getting an injury-prone guy because we got Lapati, right? Remember we got Lapati, and he's been with us for the last 2 or 3 years, and injuries kind of kept him off the field. So hopefully we'll be better, have better luck with Gilbert. But he's a defined right tackle. He's a great run blocker. He's a decent pass protector. He's protected Ben well, and so I like the move. I like the move a lot, man. And I'm glad we're addressing offensive line early, right?
Right.
That's something that we need to see as Arizona fans. We need to see that offensive line being addressed early. I spoke about it on Javon's show, how, Lapati, not even on the show. I was talking to you guys, before I went on the segment. I was like, Lapati, we might need to move on from Lapati. You know what I'm saying? He just needs to retire. Be real. Like I said, the injuries are stacked up on him. And it's like, you know what? We're getting Shipley back at center. Mason's played great at center, but we throw him at left guard. Second, between just the 2 mid-round draft picks we got, we need to bring in guard, tackle type offensive linemen, young ones that can be interchangeable, that can be strong, that can come in, that can contribute. But we have to address that offensive line, and I'm glad that we started early. Getting Marcus Gilbert was a nice, strong move.
Right, and yeah, I mean, I know what you mean because the Kitties went through a similar thing where they kind of bet high on TJ Lang coming over from the Packers, but they had to cut him because it just dealt with a lot of injuries and just that investment wasn't paying off. And then as far as some other moves with the Birdgang, they re-signed DJ Foster, running back, obviously provides some depth to help with DJ, and then they extended some offers to Daryl Daniels, Ricky Seals-Jones, and then Jeremy. I can't even say his last name. So it's the goddamn offensive lineman. So they extended offers to them. We'll see if they keep them. Now they cut. First of all, I completely forgot that Mike Glennon was even a backup on the Birdgang, and they cut him.
Yeah, we let go of Mike.
Yeah, and they cut my guy.
They cut Antoine.
Yeah, man. So they're making some moves there.
Yeah. We also brought in a tight end from Buffalo. He's an older cat, but I'm glad we did that as well because Ricky Seals-Jones needs to grow up, and we need somebody to be a mentor to the guy. You know what I'm saying? To raise him because he can be a huge mismatch for us. He can be a great asset for us, but he just needs to grow up because there's too many little things that he does that hurts us, but more than helps us. And that was a pretty strong move. I have to address the whole Kyler Murray thing because everybody's been talking about it. I'm not going to say we're not because I don't know what a man will do, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to say that, like I said on Javon's show yesterday, I think it would be kind of silly to get rid of the guy we moved up to get in the 10th pick in the first round to get another guy. A guy that you're betting the house on to be your franchise quarterback.
Right. As
I stated yesterday, my man Rosen figured out something this season that he could do that he never really thought he could do, and he can run the ball. Right? He could run and get 4 or 5 yards and keep a drive alive. Right? His arm strength, I'm not worried about it. He just needs more targets. We had a lot of drop balls last season. A lot of things added up, but we need to shore up that offensive line. That's what we started doing with my man Gilbert, and I'm pleased. I'm pleased with what we're doing so far.
Yeah, and I think that's the real issue. And to be honest with you, I kind of had that on my list to not talk about it because I know we had dropped it out there to the reviewers a little bit on social media, and it's like I don't think, regardless of the whole relationship that Kingsbury and Kyler have, I think that would be putting a Band-Aid on a dam. To be honest with you, because one of the reasons why, if you look statistically, why Rosen didn't have the greatest year, it was really protection and targets. I mean, that's really the main thing.
And drop balls and sacks and pressure. It was horrible.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if you have so what happens? You move Rosen to Lord knows that he go to the Patriots or some shit. You move him. You draft Kyler Murray. He's still behind a real fucked offensive line.
Right.
But now because he's more mobile, Russell Wilson, like now he just gets to run for his life all day.
Right. Exactly.
Like that doesn't make any sense. Like DJ having some health issues. Obviously that limited their offense in terms of being able to establish a run game, open up more for Rosen. Kirk will be coming into his second year. Obviously, Fitz is the first ballot.
The consummate pro.
He's still the consummate pro. He's still going to be there. And I think, like you said, if you have this cap space, if you have these picks, you're better invested to start with the not only best available, but like you said, focus. Get the offensive line right.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. God damn it.
Yeah.
You have to get that solidified for anything to pan out.
Gotta do
it. Otherwise, it's just speculation and potential and all that stuff, no matter who you have behind center.
Right.
And listen, Keim's been there for a while now, but Keim's getting to that point in his tenure where it's like, this is going to be I'll tell you what, and I know we're going to go deeper into the draft. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a very critical draft for Steve Keim. This may be a make or break draft for him this year.
I totally agree. He's got to make some major moves. He got to shit it out the pot. We have to get back to winning football games and being contenders because the West is going to be nasty next year. Right? Mm-hmm. So we got to get our shit together, man. Bottom line.
Right. And before we wrap up the segment, I want to throw a few names at you to see if not only you think it's realistic to even get them in terms of signings, but if they would fit into the scheme and obviously facilitate some of the Birdgang's needs. So one of the biggest free agents out there, and again, to be honest with you, I know these guys go cheap on certain positions, but god damn it, I don't know why you would let this guy go, is Trey Flowers. And Trey Flowers is out there, was on the Pats. They're not going to re-sign him. It looks like they're actually getting the Bennett brothers back. They got Michael, and they're trying to get Martellus to come out of retirement.
Right.
I don't think that's the answer. I think there are certain guys that you have to be willing to pay.
Right.
And someone's going to pay this guy, and he's out there. I mean, with some of the holes, and I bring it up because the Birdgang released Josh Bynes, so there is a need at linebacker. Do you think it's worth it in their position to pay him, and do you think he would fit their scheme?
Think about Flowers is that Flowers is a defensive end, kind of a linebacker, more of a defensive end type body type. Vance Joseph is our defensive coordinator, right? He was the former head coach of the Broncos, right?
Correct.
I don't know if he's a 3-4 or a 4-3 guy. I don't know. Like I'm guessing he was a 3-4 guy because, of course, the Broncos stayed with a 4-3, a 3-4 rather. So I don't know if we run a true 4-3, then playing Flowers could be beneficial. If we're running a 3-4, and he's that guy, because the Patriots, they run like a hybrid defense,
right? Correct.
It's not really a 3-4. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a 4-2 nickel type deal. Where they will cover up the center, and make it look like a 3-4. But I don't know. I feel like he would be a great defensive player to have because we need another edge rusher because they're talking about getting Bosa and they're kind of the same body type.
Right.
I honestly think that we could bring Flowers in, pay him, give him a nice little 3-year contract. You know what I'm saying, with some guaranteed money behind it, and not draft Bosa first and get Williams from Alabama. And with our first pick, because that kid is hell on wheels in the middle. Mm-hmm. So I believe we could definitely make a place for him. We could definitely benefit from signing him without a doubt.
Now another guy, and this just happened within the hour as we record, and this is more of a cap friendly, keywords as you like to use. Chiefs released Justin Houston, 4-time Pro Bowler, linebacker, and he was due a base salary of $15.25 million. Mm-hmm. Does he make sense, or is that price tag too high?
Price tag's too high because he's a true 3-4 linebacker, outside rush linebacker. He does everything really well, but I just think his price tag is a little too high, and he's too old. Flowers is young. It's like Flowers, fourth year? Mm-hmm. He got that youth on his side. No, not a lot of wear and tear. Houston has had some injuries. He's older. Yeah, I wouldn't be a good move.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's something I'd be curious to see if you think if you be able to get him on the cheap. Danny Amendola got released from the Dolphins. He may be a good option on the right price to be a good underneath option for Rosen to help. What do you think about that?
I was speaking to my kids yesterday when I was training about Amendola. I was like, he would be a great pickup because with Amendola, Fitz, and Christian Kirk being the three receivers on the field, we have our starting three receivers out there. We have two ball one sets. DJ in the backfield. That would be phenomenal. Ricky Seals-Jones at tight end, who's a mismatch. We can get him to do what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it. That's a lot of offensive weapons. A lot of offensive firepower, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm pro picking up Amendola. He's older, you know what I'm saying? So we wouldn't have to break the bank trying to pay him. And he's again, like Fitz, he's a consummate pro. He's going to give you exactly what you need. He's a possession receiver, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Mm-hmm. You bet that he's going to get loose and you can get it to him. He's the type of guy that's always right over the ball, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, he would be a great pickup.
Bam. There it is. Well, there's some key moves, and I think we can both agree. I think there is a collection of moves that this new coaching staff can make, as opposed to going, the whole rumored move of they're going to move Rosen, they're going to draft Murray. Right. To be honest with you, I think when history looks back in the draft, I think a lot of this shit is going to be a lot of smoke and mirrors, and hopefully we'll be one of the finer hours for the front office to be like, man, we had y'all boys fooled because we thought you were gonna go, you know what I'm saying? The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, sort of situation.
Yeah, I said that in the beginning. As soon as the whole Kyler Murray talk started, I was like, that's all. I said that's draft poker. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
That's draft poker. They might be trying to get a little incentive, you know what I'm saying, to trade and drop down, you know what I'm saying, 4 or 5 picks or whatever. Somebody can move up to get Kyler Murray if they want him. Hell, it is what it is. We gonna see, you know what I'm saying, here in about in less than 50 days now. So.
That's correct. Coming up sooner than you think. All right, viewers, when we come back, we're gonna introduce something here that kind of ties in a lot of things that we've been talking over the course of the show, particularly as it relates to players and their moving and their contracts and their rights. We're gonna JB. We're seeing a lot of presidential candidates come out already, running for 2020, and damn it, we're going to take it to the Senate floor, but on behalf of the players. In a new segment that we're going to talk about here, I'm going to throw some things at Congressman Bridges to see what he thinks about how it should be handled and how the players should be able to have more control of their careers. Right. So we'll get into all that when we come back here, right here on the review after the special advertisement announcement. You are listening to the JB and Benny Blue Review podcast, and we'll be right back.
We appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah. What's up, reviewers? Have you heard about making money in real estate, but you're not sure how to get started? Now you have an opportunity to learn about the housing market while earning commission on new deals. Pacific Home Buyers is a Southern California-based real estate investment group that is seeking experienced and hungry phone salespeople to help them find the best homes on the market for sale. And the best part, there's no real estate experience required. Hours are flexible and you can earn big money on closed deals for just getting home sellers qualified. Call us now at 323-963-3417 for more information on how you can get started. That's 323-963-3417. Pacific Home Buyers. Your home sale starts here. Yeah, reviewers, we are back. It's a JB and Benny Blue Review podcast.
Buddy.
We love you.
Man, we love y'all.
Oh, hey, shout out to all the reviewers. Reviewers, I really love you. I really appreciate it because we're on the bi-weekly schedule, so I didn't get to tell you over the airwaves. Appreciate you, everybody, showing me that birthday love here.
Oh, March 1st. My guy.
You know what I'm saying? It was great. Love you guys. Yeah, man, and we appreciate you subscribing to us and following us, which you can do at JB and Benny Blue. We are available on the following platforms, which is basically everything, but I'm going to tell it to you one more again so you know exactly where to listen. That's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, CastBox, Spotify, iHeartRadio.
Oh, yeah.
Full episodes on YouTube, and shout out to the fine folks there at KSRN in the desert. You know what I'm saying? Javon, Sean, everybody running that. Appreciate you guys always showing my guy love there on NBC Sports Radio in the greater Phoenix area.
Yeah.
Of course, JB and BennyBlueReview.com. Leave us a message on the Savage Hotline and we will play it. That is 818-850-2804 to leave that message, shout out, questions, all that stuff. We'll take it all, baby. So we appreciate Yeah, man, we appreciate listening to us. Of course, Savage Reactions artists send that music. And in fact, this week I'm going to put up some posts so we can get some new ones in, because I know we haven't really been talking about it like that. You haven't been seeing it in your face. Well, damn it. We want your music. Send it to JB and Benny Blue Review at gmail.com. Original heat, baby. I said original heat.
Original.
And we We will give you that patented savage reaction right here on the show. So that's that. With that, reviewers, before we go, man, a lot of different sports happen this time of year, like we said at the top of the show. And it's interesting the way all these things have a way to converge, come together, because a lot of them, they deal with a lot of the same issues. And we're seeing prime example of what happened with the Antonio Brown signing, where you're seeing a lot of players take more control of what happens in their career.
Right.
Now listen, JB and I are smart enough and practical enough to know damn well that you get to a certain point where business is business, and you can't just dictate everything where it's like, I want a white Bengal tiger to walk me out to the field every day. No, right. Goddammit. We're paying you, right, you get paid $40 million guaranteed. Cut it out, man. We got to compromise this shit when you're doing business with anybody.
Right.
But we do think it's high time that we set a new doctrine, a new manifest, a new standard that players can live from moving forward as they enter the world of professional sports. So now it's time. We're taking it here to the Senate floor, to the Congress floor. We're introducing a bill that, damn it, we know is going to get passed and is going to benefit all athletes from sea to shining sea. This is the official JB and Benny Blue Review Players Bill of Rights. Cue the music, goddammit. Cue that music. We have a few things we need to go over here. Right off the bat. Shout out to the OJs. Money, money, money. Now, it's a topic of much debate, much controversy, but the way it's being looked at has changed. And I think there is a way to find a compromise that will not only satisfy the players, but will be reasonable to the ownership as well. So as it relates to how these guys get paid, obviously the NBA has its own CBA, the NFL does its own thing, and other sports, every sport kind of has its own, structure to it.
Right.
But in terms of basic standards, from your experience, what do you think needs to be there in terms of basic standards that all leagues need to hold themselves to for making sure that these players are at least getting what they deserve? Maybe not more than what they negotiate, right, but as long as they are getting what they deserve. How does that change?
Along with their signing bonus being guaranteed, fully guaranteed, because in NFL football, a lot of times the contracts are structured to where you get a signing bonus, you get part of it now, you get part of it in your second year. You know what I'm saying? You get part, and they do that. You know what I'm saying? So they keep the cap right, of course. I think that signing bonus should be guaranteed. So even if you get cut, you still get your signing bonus money. And I think 60% of your contract should be guaranteed. 60% of your contract should be guaranteed.
Nice.
Pretty fair.
Yeah.
Pretty fair.
I like that. Okay. So the motion is granted by Congressman Bridges, who continues to have the floor.
Yeah.
Next topic of order. Speaking of, the guarantees, I think something that would not only offset some of the guaranteed money, but also create a better product on the court, on the field, wherever, is I think we need to look at the idea of ownership stakes in some of these teams, because there are ways to do it where even if it's portions of a percentage, right? Even a quote unquote minority owner who actually buys into a team is really going to own about probably less than 5% of that team. But on the flip side, you look at franchises like the Green Bay Packers, where it's technically a bunch of people who are owners of the team. They have little small portions of stock in the team. And to me, I think that will not only offset some of the, like you said, the restrictions they have where they have to make all these upfront moves to try to have all this cap space to fill out the roster, but ultimately, I think that could solve some of the problems with players feeling like, oh, this isn't a good situation, I'm going to bounce. It's like, no, you have some sort of stake in this to where if you're smart, this can ride you for the rest of your life. So moving forward, how do you think that plays? And obviously, we want to make sure the players have a choice if they want to do this. But essentially, almost like you would consider, like if you work at a regular corporate job where they give you quote-unquote stock options. How do you think that relates to players in professional leagues having that option to have quote unquote ownership stock options.
I think if you're a lifer with a team, then I think you should have to earn that right. I understand what you're saying, but like, guys that that be at the team for 2 years shouldn't have that option. But if you're a guy like a Ben Roethlisberger, you know what I'm saying, or a Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady, or guys like that have been, or the late great Steve McNair, who was a Tennessee Titan, you know what I'm saying, forever, before he went to Baltimore. Like, these guys should have the option to say, you know what, I need to gain an interest in this company. Without a doubt. Again, you should have to earn that right. With that being said, the owners are dirty, and they would probably be like, "Oh yeah, this fifth year he has the option to buy into the company now. Cut him." You know what I'm saying? So that's a tricky one. It would be great, but I feel like you would have to earn that right to do that. But it's definitely something that it should be an option. You should have the option. Like, say you're on your third contract with the same team, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or even your second contract with the same team. You're like, you know what? At this point, you have an option to gain an interest in the company.
Right. And then that maybe for the owners, that's an incentive to where they are feeling the risk of, on a second contract for a player, they're not sure if that production is going to hold up and his health is going to hold up moving into, say, year 6, 7, 8, whatever it is, to where they can say, you know what, we're not going to give you as much money within the contract, but like you said, if they've earned it, if they played successfully through that rookie contract, then to offset that, they get the option of having that small stock option in ownership. Right. And again, if they're smart, that's something that they can hang on to.
And some kind of perk, like where the ownership says, okay, you know what, we're not going to pay you as much, but we want to keep you around, and we'll give you that option to buy into the company, and we'll match whatever you buy. We'll match it. So your company, you know what I'm saying, your whatever you invest, we're going to match it, and then that way, bam, it'll be like it is.
True businessman. I do it. There it is. Hey, speaking of players, making moves, making choices. Now we're into the era of player mobility, especially you see it in the NBA. And now it's starting to trickle into what you've seen with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, some of these other players who are purposely holding out, asking for trades early into their contracts. But, there's going to be a residual effect in terms of how players are given contracts and treated, I think, moving forward. Right. So as it relates to player mobility, do you like the trend of what's happening, or do you think it needs to be, do you think all parties need to sit down at the table and really bang this shit out now before it kind of becomes a runaway train?
I don't like the whole public aspect of it. Like, they're going to social media and like trying to put the organization, the franchise on blast to try to get out. Like, you should have to be, you like you said, it should be a man-to-man type thing, because it's all men, you know what I'm saying, or women, you know what I'm saying, in these leagues, they're grown. These people are grown men, grown women. You should be able to sit down and say, you know what, this is not working for me, all right? So I want to go. And it can be very clean, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be all messy, like, the whole Antonio Brown thing. The LeBron situation with the Lakers and your man AD over there in New Orleans, that got real messy. And now look at it, you know what I'm saying? It's just a complete clusterfuck. Right. Of the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? LeBron lost his team. You know what I'm saying? Like, he lost the faith of the young kids that would have followed him into the depths of hell. Right. If he would have just stayed loyal to them and let the whole, the whole AD thing play out in the offseason, as opposed to like making it such a big whoop at this point right now. I just feel like it should be more within the realms of the team and the player. It shouldn't be public. That's the thing. That's when it gets all messy and nasty. It's just. I think you should be able to, if you can get out of that contract, you know what I'm saying, and you can figure out a way that both parties are going to win, because that's pretty much the only way that is going to happen. I mean, the Antonio Brown situation was a little bit different, but. You should be able to say, you know what, I'm not being utilized like I think I should be. You look at my numbers, I was this, I was that to you guys, and it's just, I don't know. I think it's time for me to step off and go somewhere else. I need to change the scenery. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think that's grown men doing grown men business.
Mm-hmm. Right. If you can do it in other industries, if you're not happy at your job or your career, your company, you should be able to have some form of that. within
respect,
sports as well.
That respect, you know what I'm saying? That man-to-man, female, woman-to-woman respect, saying, hey, again, this is just not, it's time for me to move on.
Correct. Now, the fourth statute on the Players' Bill of Rights, and this applies to all leagues, and you bring up the NBA and how it compares to the NFL. Two completely different perspectives on this. One is way more progressive. One is, damn near plantation mentality. Let's just call it what it is.
Right.
Social activism. You've seen the major stories, obviously, with Colin, who we've talked about on many occasions on this podcast.
Right.
Still won the settlement, quote unquote undisclosed amount, but right. the NFL, they came to the table and put an end to it because I'm guessing that they probably knew it was going to be a long, hard fought battle for this whole collusion thing, which there's definitely a case for. And then you see Eric Reed, where he was able to really make a power play and go to the Panthers and get a new deal with the Panthers.
Right.
But even though they quote unquote paid them, and I think in a lot of ways, it was kind of, in a way, you could almost kind of call it hush money.
Yeah, it was a shut up. Right. It was for them to shut the fuck up.
Exactly. So on a Players' Bill of Rights, how should these leagues not only allow for these type of demonstrations, but also just do a better job of assisting in these communities where these players come from to ultimately bridge the gap and not have to worry about these financial consequences to it because they're actually doing something to help.
Right. I honestly think that my thing is that I think it's horrible how they did Colin Kaepernick. At the same time, I'm going to go on record and say it again. Like, this is your job. And if you do something at your job that's frowned upon by the people that employ you, then they can do what the hell they want to do to you. It's a job. That's at any job. It ain't got nothing to do with the NFL, NBA. Now the NBA is a lot more, it's a lot looser than the NBA. Than the NFL. Like, it is. It's a lot looser. But I tell people all the time that there's a clause in the NBA players' contracts that you're going to stand up for the national anthem. Like, it's in there. True. It's in there. Like, and you sign that contract. So if you don't, then they have the right to let you go. And I just think there needs to be. I don't think there's anything wrong with expressing yourself, but I think there's a time and a place to do it. All right. I honestly think there's a time and a place to do it, and it's a messy subject. It really is, because everybody's like, well, I want to use my platform being I'm on TV to show people that I'm feeling like this. Well, if you really feel like that, then we ain't got to see it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. Just do it. Like, if you're gonna do something, if you want to fight social injustice, then fight it. You got to fight on the football field, then fight it in real life. Like, go into the community, like you said, go into the communities. And I think that all professional sports teams should go into the communities and to the lower income and the lower income communities in their cities, respective cities, and have a agreement with the police where they have seminars and where they have just meetings, where they have all of these things where they can sit down and they can talk and they can come to an agreement and say, you know what, this is not cool. Like, what's going on in our community, and we don't like it. So we're going to do everything we can to make it stop. All right? Whether it means we're going to shine light on it all day, every day, but this is what we're going to do. If it doesn't stop social injustice, it doesn't stop. You're killing young black men. It's not cool, and we're going to continue to harp and to bang on y'all until this stops in our community. If every sports team does that, because it's not cool. It's not cool nowhere. And you know what I'm saying? Like, most sports are African American players. Like, with the exception of certain sports, hockey, you know what I'm saying? Like, baseball, you know what I'm saying? Like, but still, these are a lot of baseball players, especially a lot of baseball players are from Central and South America. You know what I'm saying?
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like their skin color still, they look more like us, you know what I'm saying, than like them. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing that happened to my people can happen to y'all. They, just because y'all speak a different language. So yeah, sports teams should be way more active in the community, and it would help if the big wigs spoke up. But I know they don't give a damn, and that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to say that, that's all I can say is that they need to be way more active in the community. Like, just completely all the way out there, way more active The Chicago Bears did a really good job of teaming up with the police and getting the program going out there. My man Sam Acho and some of the guys, they did a really good job of doing that, and it kind of toned down it really toned down the gun violence in Chicago. And it's something that needs to happen. They got to. As far as like the protesting amongst within the game, like, it's your job, man. Like, it's your job. Like, you're just not gonna be allowed to do certain things at your job.
Right. So Congressman Bridges, in the effort to come together and have a bipartisan agreement on this God's green earth, is it of your opinion that you think the trade-off should be that the leagues will still have the standards in terms of what they're talking about with the quote-unquote demonstrations, but they must be willing to come to the table and contribute, whether it's financially, resources, whatever, to help these communities and ultimately create more action, thus diminishing the need to have these quote-unquote demonstrations, because the things that need to be happening will be happening.
Right.
Is that your belief, Congressman Bridges?
Players should be able to go to the higher ups in their organizations and say, you know what, I don't like what's going on in my community. I'm a player here. We need to do something. We need to do it now. That would avoid. I honestly think that Colin Kaepernick knelt because he felt like he couldn't even talk to the people that employed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a language barrier between what I'm saying and what you're thinking and what you're saying. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how I feel. Right.
Done. The resolution passes, and finally, the last statute on the Players' Bill of Rights. You know, JB, it's a substance that you and I can enjoy from time to time. Hell, yeah. I know you appreciate being a card-carrying charter member of the Wash Gang.
I'm gonna go enjoy it in a few minutes.
me and you both, sir. It is the cannabis. It is a topic of much discussion, particularly with NFL players who are retired and they're dealing with the effects of concussions, wear and tear on the body, right. And it's been something that a lot of players are going to talk about.
I just got my CBD package of the oil and the rub and all of those things. So I'm quite pleased with them, and they are really good, man. Really
nice. Good. Do we have a brand? Do we have a brand / future sponsor to shout out? So we can.
I would have to go down and look at it. I send this in the medicine cabinet. Yeah. I would have to go down and look at them, but that's later to come reviews. We'll definitely shout them out.
That'll be in a patent and production meeting. However, speaking of the medicine cabinet, you have a lot of players being outspoken about they're getting very tired of being fed by medical staffs various opioids in the NFL, a lot of Toradol, different sort of painkillers like that. And going way back in the day, you saw it early with players like Ricky Williams, where he cut his career short in the name of marijuana, which is, again, even just looking back at it now, it was his choice. I don't know if he would do anything differently now, but I think he did take an early sacrifice on it, and now bringing it to present day, you have David Irving from the Cowboys essentially saying that he's retiring, what have you. Again, young man. I don't know if that shit's gonna hold up, if he's gonna end up coming back, but he was voicing his opinion on IG Live about how he feels about the NFL treats cannabis, right? And then you bring up things like CBD, where it's non-psychoactive, and a lot of former players like yourself are using it to treat symptoms. And the NFL's argument is they're trying to classify it as a performance-enhancing drug with the THC. So, moving forward to the Players' Bill of Rights, do you think it's high time that sports leagues all over chill out on this weed thing and let the players do what they do on that, if it helps them manage even things like mental problems or with the physical rigors of playing the game?
I'm going to start by saying this. I think that the fear of the NFL and the whole marijuana thing is that guys are going to be walking into this facility high. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And then they'll be like, well, my head was hurting, so I smoked before I came in. Because you're going to get some idiots that's going to do that. Like,
they're gonna be blunted.
And that's the problem, is that they can't. The reason why they won't do it is because they can't control it. Right? Even if, like, there's too many loopholes in it, like I said, there's always going to be a guy that's be like, man, my back was hurting, so I could smoke, and they're going to come in the facility smelling like weed. Like, so I think that's the biggest fear of the NFL and the whole thing. Now the CBD thing, I really do think that the NFL should really I mean, if they're smart, they should partner with CBD companies, and start, like these rubs and so on and so forth. Like, I put the rub on my knees the other day. Woo, man, it was amazing.
Ric Flair, woo.
Right? It was amazing. Like I mean, within 10 minutes, man, I didn't feel anything. It felt amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that they should do that. Now, the whole marijuana thing, it's just too hard to control. It really is. Because again, there are going to be a lot of guys. I'm going to say it like this: 75% of guys will do it right. You know what I'm saying? They'll smoke at night before they go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you got to think about
not hit the blunt in the team parking lot and walk in the facility. You know what I mean? Like wild shit like that.
But you're going to have dummies like that that's going to do that, and then they're going to end up losing their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Because shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too hard to control. But the whole
I think that's
with actual marijuana with the THC. But the whole cannabis thing, without a doubt, I think it's the NFL should partner up with cannabis companies, and it should start being treatment for pains, so on and so forth. Because, man, it's I know I'm glad that I don't have an addictive personality, but when you have pain, the first thing they give you is first of all, you get a Toradol. We used to get when I'm an older guy, so we used to get Toradol shots before every game, literally before every game, right there butt cheek. You know what I'm saying? And you play a whole game and you're basically half numb. You know what I'm saying? Because about 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, you're like, shit. You know what I'm saying? When that Toradol wears off, you get hurt. You know what I'm saying? The first thing they want to give you, you know what I'm saying, is Percocet. You know what I'm saying? They want to give you, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much the thing you go get perk. And you get high volume perk. You don't get that bullshit. They give you that real shit. You know what I'm saying? They give you the 1500.
Strength.
They give you the 1500. You know what I'm saying? Like, you getting that real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. And you get an abundance of it. Like, even right now, as an NFL player, retired NFL player, if I go see my pain specialist once a month like I'm supposed to, he would give me 150 Percocet. He would write a prescription every month for me to get 150 Percocet.
Right.
I did it once in California when I was out there, when I first got out there. And he was like, boom, there you go. And I couldn't even get it because, of course, you know what I'm saying, of all the, you know what I'm saying, the opioid addiction amongst kids, you know what I'm saying, and amongst just regular people. Like, you have to go through like this whole process to go to CVS and get your fucking prescription. So but like the CBD for sure. Like it's definitely
that has to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely something that the NFL has to look into to help cure and help relieve pain, and also, man, like headaches and so on and so forth. And like I do the capsules. I've had the CBD package for about 3 days and done the package, and I hadn't had pain in my neck and my head like I have. Again, I said I rubbed it on my knees, and it was phenomenal. I'm about to go rub some on my knees when we get through with this podcast because they're aching a little bit, and it's like, man, it's a natural pain relief. It's herb. God put this here for me and you. Take advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Word to Smokey. Yeah, and I think to me, I think that is the answer, because I mean, even though this is the Players' Bill of Rights, when you're doing business, there still has to be a form of negotiation and compromise.
Right.
And I think to me, like you said, I think it's not wise to just have it be way too unregulated with players, where it's like, like you said, a lot of players handle it correctly, and some won't, and that'll be their fault. But I think what you could do now is really embrace that, because the studies are there, the facts are there, to utilize it to not only keep away the addictives of the pills and the shots and everything they'll get you, because like you said, no matter if you have addictive traits or not, they start pumping you for all that stuff. Naturally, your body is going to crave it, no matter what. Even if you don't have that within your brain to do that, and then that on the flip side, that'll satisfy the guys who really believe in it. Say, you know what? At least they're taking the steps to believe in the healing and medical benefits of it. I get the part where they don't want us to be, cushed out. But if they're allowing us to take CBD, they don't consider it a performance-enhancing drug. I think that's a huge step forward in every league, for not only the actual leagues and ownership, but for the players. And I think that's something that they honestly, of all these topics, I think that could be top
the easiest one.
Of the bill.
That's the easiest one though. Like that's the easiest one to resolve. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the easiest one to come to terms with. So I'm pro CBD. You need it.
Damn. That's it. Well, hey, shout to whoever you got that box from, and trust and believe we will definitely have. We've had our different supplements and different fitness stuff that sponsored us before, but definitely any CBD brands out there, get at us. JB and Benny Blue Review at gmail.com so we can talk some business about having you be a sponsor, because you have a gentleman that is a believer in your products, and we will definitely push them, because you know what I'm saying, it's good shit out there. So reviewers, that's it. Bizzleman, any final thoughts of the reviewers before we get on up out of here and enjoy the rest of our week?
Man, look, we love you. 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 Hey, did I mention that we love you?
Hey.
God damn it, we love ya!
Canaway
Sports.
What's Canaway Sports?
That's the company, Canaway Sports.
Well, hey, Canaway Sports, we will be in touch. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out.
Reviewers, we love you. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy your week coming up. We'll see you here in every other week as usual. And in the meantime, you can keep up with us here at JB and Benny Blue for all your social media needs.
Right.
JB and BennyBlueReview.com for all past episodes and merch and all that good stuff. And again, leave us a message on the Savage Hotline. That's 818-850-2804. One more again, that's 818-850-2804. God damn it. And we're available on all streaming platforms. Look us up, find us, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Helps us move us the charts, and we appreciate it. And that's it. This has been the JB and Benny Blue Review podcast. And until next time, we out.
Holla. Peace.